Hey everybody, this week's episode of the R&R Show is brought to you by Arcane Wonders.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Rahdo. How's it going?
It is going fine, thank you. As I was just telling you right before we started, I had a dental appointment this morning. I had about a month ago. I lost half of one of my back teeth. Just fell out
Oh,
while eating popcorn. It's been driving
oh,
for a month, and I think the numbness is starting to go. I
okay,
think the droopy lip is starting to go away. But oh my
okay.
god, it went long, and I've just been in a total panic all this
Uh,
morning trying to get ready for some Kickstarter stuff. Which
You
what we're
made it though. That's the important thing. You made it. Hopefully, there's no drool coming out of your mouth because of numbness.
yes,
But
one would hope.
we want to welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. This is the R&R show. We're so happy to be here. Excited to see everyone here in chat. There's a bunch of people from around the world. As always, want to shout out Kabuki Kid, Felicitas, Monica. Oh my goodness, there's like a ton of names. Troy's here, Wim, Omar, Robert. Thank you all, everyone from Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook Live. It's good to see everyone here. Wow. I've got a dental appointment on Friday, so I made a conscious choice. I made sure it was not on a Wednesday because I know how I am after the dentist. And
I was not too terribly excited about doing this on a Wednesday morning, and this was I would have had to wait like over another month. This was it. This was the one I said,
yeah.
please, if anybody cancels, get me in any other day than Wednesday morning, and I got nothing. And
Well,
I'm out whatever it is now, $600 for the joy of not
ouch.
having a gaping hole in the back of my mouth. But I'm sure I'll be happier for it as I start to mellow out and the adrenaline starts wearing off.
Right. Well, we're happy to have you here in one piece and with a mouthful of healthy teeth. So, all right, let's get into it, folks. We got a lot to talk about today. If you don't know, we are going to be covering our top 10 upcoming Kickstarter projects. So stick around for that. But as always, we start off with some housekeeping here.
Yes.
What shall we do first?
I think it's time to talk about this, which leads.
Yes.
No. Let's not talk about this first. Let's actually give a game away before we talk
that's
about
even better.
Games. I'm sure people are very, very excited to find out if they've won a copy of 11 from Portal Games, which of course turned out to be a monster hit, huge smash. I did do a search when I was getting the list for this ready to make sure there were no Ruel Gaviolas or Gruel Raviolas anywhere in the list. I looked askance at anybody named Michelle just in case. There was no funny business in this particular one, and I think we'll be okay. So are we ready to spin?
Yeah, let's spin it. And good luck, everybody. Here it is for a copy of 11 from Portal Games.
And
who do we got?
Jack Sue! Congratulations, Jack!
Congrats, Jack. Well done. All right. Fun.
Wherever you are, so, Jack, there will be a copy coming your way. It was like the full, all-included package, I think. So very, very exciting. Could you hear the beeping, the spinning of the wheel?
Yeah, it was.
Was it intermittent? Was it going blip, 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 or was it smooth?
It sounded smooth on my end. Let's see. Hopefully, people in the audience will let us know. It seems like they could hear it. Yeah, Monica heard bells. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's interesting. On my end, it sounded like blip, 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 and it was very choppy. And because I think this is the biggest number of names I've put into this. This website was not made for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of names. I mean, and it just squeezes into that little thing. It just wants like a dozen things to choose from. But we'll keep pushing it. Justin says, "Yep, it did sound laggy." We have pushed the wheel of names past the breaking point. I don't know if we're going to outgrow it, but I love the wheel of names, so we'll stick with it for now.
Yep, people are saying it's intermittent, sounding laggy. Okay, well, you know, we have so many people watching and interested in winning prizes. I mean, we may have to find another Wheel of Fortune or Wheel of Destiny, as it may be.
Well, yes, but you know what? It's not going to be a problem next week, likely, because let's talk about our next contest. It is for this. Is Four Gardens. There it is, right there on my wall. I absolutely adore this game, and I think you played it too, right?
Yeah, it is. We really loved it. I thought it was such a beautiful game, and that tower, it's really cool. I mean,
it's so cool. You know, I mean, the way it works is you've got a hand of cards. You're trying to make these beautiful art tableaus by getting all the resources you need in storage so you can, you know, complete them. But when you play cards, the cards tell you, hey, this one says rotate the bottom, or you know, rotate the bottom piece. What? There we go. So the payout for all of these suddenly changes, and then says start taking them from the top down. Or this card says, hey, rotate this one. And then start taking from top down. And so it looks just like a gimmick. I mean, it doesn't really seem like it's that important, but it is such a big deal. It really changes up the game because, well, I mean, that, okay, I would like to get more lumber. Do I have the card that would let me rotate this way so that I could get water and lumber? Because then I look at all this. But the card that let me rotate it that way takes it from the bottom up. So I end up with nothing but a bunch of rocks and plants, and that's not what I really wanted. So the game is full of really interesting card play, and this is just fun. And also, when you're done, it just comes apart really easy, goes right back in the box. There's no annoying, taking it apart and all that. So really, really smart design. I actually did a run through for it back in Jan or February. Have you covered it on your Twitch channel?
Yeah, we Michelle and I did a live playthrough a couple of months ago, and like you were saying, it seems like it would be a gimmick, that tower, but it's a really functional part of the game, and we really enjoyed that puzzle of, I want to turn it this way or that way.
Yeah.
And then, yes, you either go up or down to get those resources.
Well, you know what? Ice X in the chat says, I wants it. And I think he adds, my precious. He didn't say that. But, well, you know what, IceX? You might get it because we are giving away a copy in next episode of the R&R show of 4 Gardens. Provided free of charge, free shipping to anybody, and here's the sad part, in the United States or Canada. Basically North American minus Mexico, because that's where Arcane Wonders has the rights to distribute the game. It's originally a Korean design game, and they have rights for distributing it elsewhere in the world, I guess. So I'm very, very sorry to all of our watchers. I mean, almost half of our watchers, or over half of our watchers, are not in the continental United States or the United States. I think this will go to Canada or Alaska or Hawaii. I said continental. I meant all the United States or Canada. But folks, if you are not living in those particular areas, my wife has decided to step up. Jennifer Ham of Jennifer Ham Glass of gamerglass.art is offering for other folks a little collection of what she calls Witwat, which is actually the plural. It's an acronym for what in the world are those? Each individual one is a wit. What in the world is that? And this is a very popular line of little glass meeples she makes in all kinds of fun, fluid, wacky shapes. It's basically an alien race. We love using them in all of our games. And so Jen is going to send out a full set of blue, green, yellow, and red Witwat to one lucky winner not in the United States or Canada, so that everybody gets a little something, if you're lucky. And so thank you very much to gamerglass.art and Arcane Wonders for basically sponsoring the show and ensuring that I don't have to pay $50. Remember the very first episode, Ruel, where we gave away a copy of Fort I had on hand that was still in shrink? It was won by somebody in the UK, and it cost me over $50 to send it to them.
Oh my goodness!
Like, okay, I'm taking a big loss on this show right out of the gate.
The sacrifices you have made, my friend. The sacrifices you've made. I love it. I've never seen these. I would love to play with these. I may have to if you see a name called like Guel Raviola in this next one. It may be myself. Those are so cute. Those are awesome. I know Michelle would love those. And they're Jen's favorite thing to make. No two are ever alike. Basically, sculpting glass is a very tactile thing. The glass is alive. It's it's a slow moving liquid basically, and Jen lets the glass kind of take her in a direction, and she's always surprised how these things evolve as she's making them in front of the 1,000 or the 5,000 degree torch that she works at, or I think it's 3,000. Awesome. Or anyway, amazing.
So yes, so folks, what this means is you are going to enter into one of these 2 contests by sending an email to contest@rahdo.com. And in the subject of that contest email, you will have to give a secret word. And as always, at some point in the show, we will reveal the secret word and hopefully do it without the other person noticing, so we can have bragging rights. Am I in the lead again?
We are all, because this is episode 9, we are all tied up 4-4.
Okay, yes. So we have
I started off strong. I had a few right off the bat, but then you made this really nice comeback the last couple of episodes. So we're all knotted up.
Hold on a second. I'm sorry, I have to interrupt. There is now there is somebody from Twitch shouting Team Ruel, GB Blazer. Oh,
all right, GB Blazer.
I didn't.
My man. All right,
this
GB
is.
Blazer.
I thought this was a little rivalry between us, but this could tear the R&R show apart. if tribalism gets in.
Tribalism.
Kabuki hopes for a tie game. We will see.
We will see. Okay.
So we figured out what the secret word is. At some point, we will mention it, and then we will pause the show and remind everybody what you have to do. Send the email to contest@raw.com with this in the subject matter. But because we're running two contests this week for all our UK listeners, that's not a good sign.
Oh, yeah, you don't want to do that one.
No, I shouldn't, and I just did it again. In addition to putting the secret word in the subject, in the text, in the main portion of your email, put your country. You can put your whole address if you want, save me some trouble, but at the very least, put your country so I will know whether to put you in the contest for Four Gardens or the contest for gamerglass.art, one or the other.
Yeah. So, folks, again, that secret word goes in the subject to contest@rahdo.com.
Right.
Get those in before. What do we have? Is it 24 hours before the next show? Is that the
No?
deadline?
It's usually about an hour. I'm we go live at noon. At about 11, I am pulling all the emails out, running them through Excel filters to get rid of duplicates and all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, basically, you have 6 days and 22 hours to get that email sent, basically.
All right. So good luck, everybody. Be sure to stick around. We're going to give out the secret word sometime during the show.
Yes.
But okay, let's move on, shall we? So we're taking care of business. We're giving out games. We're going to give out more games. Let's get to the topic at hand, my friend. We are talking the top 10 board game Kickstarters. These are Kickstarters that are upcoming. And I guess I should have, let me update the title here. These are upcoming. So these aren't actually on Kickstarter right now, as far as they're not being funded yet, but they are. You can check out previews, and these are the ones that we're most excited about. Do I have? Am I starting? I am starting off. Gosh, I should have prepared myself a little bit more. So,
well, actually, before we get to our top 10.
Yeah.
Which again, our top 10 are going to be games that you can go and click the, hey, notify me when it launches right now. That's our main consideration. Which means there are going to be a few games that might be coming in the next 4 weeks that they haven't put their pre-launch page up, but we are a pre-launch focused show. Whether it's on Kickstarter or on GameFound, you can tick a button so that you will know when it goes live. None of these are live right now. The other shows cover that, including an excellent show that Ruel might want to mention in passing.
What a brilliant segue. Thank you, my friend. Yes, every 2 weeks, Becca Scott and I host Good Looking Kickstarters on her channel, The Good Time Society, and that's where we look at the projects that are currently funding that we're most excited about. What we're doing here today, though, for the R&R shows, the ones that are upcoming and haven't that you'll be able to find in the months to come.
Yeah, so, we are future focused, not present or past focused in this particular show.
It's all about the future, friends. So let's move on to, let's start it off with my number 10.
Well, no. Before we do that, there's a couple of other things. Remember, I sent you that picture with the 5 images?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, my bad. Okay, yeah, let's take our business. Yeah.
Okay, yes. In addition to the top 10 that we are going to talk about, there are a bunch of Kickstarter shows that are covered on the channel. I cover a bunch. Shay Parker covers a bunch. Pretty soon we'll be seeing Ruel cover some of them as well. And we didn't want to put these ones on the list because it didn't feel fair because we've already played them. But we did want to do a shout out to them because if they're covered by our channel, we think they're awesome. And we actually talked about all 5 of these in the last episode. Episode 5 of R&R, specifically Birdwatchers, Roll Camera, B-Movie Expansion, Perpetuity, Terraternity, and Bardwood Grove. Interestingly, Bardwood Grove was like my number 3 last time, and the publisher said, "Oh, Rahdo's interested," and so they're actually sending to me. So I'm going to be covering it this month. I'm very excited.
Oh, nice.
But you'll be able to see all of those coming up on the channel pretty soon. I believe Ruel is planning on covering Perpetuity, if I recall correctly.
I am. Yeah, that'll be coming up
that's yours. Soon. And then on top of that, there are a bunch of other games. Remember, I sent you the first email. Before we get to the actual countdown of our 10, there were other games that are being covered on the channel as well that we didn't talk about in the last episode. So there's like 5
that's
more.
Right.
Yes. Okay, so before we get to our actual top 10 of games that we literally don't know much about, that we're just like, whoa, those sound really cool. We're talking about the ones we know are awesome because they're going to be covered by the show. And if they weren't awesome, we wouldn't cover them. So you have that list.
I do. Here we go. So we're going to pop these up. Let's share screen.
Yep.
First one.
Resurgence. Okay.
Yes.
This one, I don't know if you've heard about this at all. It's from Stan Kordonsky, who is really a very big up-and-coming designer. Last year, he had one of the biggest Kickstarters on the market with Winter Kingdom. Is that what it was? No, not Winter Kingdom. Endless Winter. And that was a monster hit with art by the Miko and whatnot. Yeah, this is going to be his big Kickstarter project this year. And I only just found out a couple of days ago that he wants us to cover it. And just based on how amazing Endless Winter was last year, I said, I must try this. Apparently, it's set in a snow-swept post-apocalyptic Russia. And there are mutants running amok, and we are trying to be the last vestiges of humanity holding on. And I'll be honest, I did not look at the gameplay that much because Stan has proven himself to be such an amazing designer that he's become one of those okay, no questions asked. I want to cover that game. So Resurgence will be coming soon, and I will be covering it on the channel. And then what's the next one? I don't remember.
Let me switch over here. Here we go. So the next one is I had these all lined up, and it was this one. Oh, this looks good. Pathfinder Arena.
Well, then maybe you want to talk about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's Pathfinder, and then that whole world of from the role playing game, and also it was like a card driven, a deck building game as well. And then now what this has taken, it's got minis and it's got combat, and I'm all over this. I mean, you can see some of the preview photos here from the playtests and so forth.
Hold on that photo right there, because here's the interesting thing about this. I expected this was going to be, look, heroes and monsters fighting, no big deal in the Pathfinder universe. They're really going above and beyond. This is a dungeon you find yourself in where the tiles can slide around and rotate and stuff like that. And you and I are both heroes who have come in here to kill as many monsters as possible in the arena, but the arena is constantly moving and shifting and changing. The monsters stand still, and we're just trying to find a way to get to them. Or, if you want, you can also try to slam a really tough, terrible monster into one of your opponents so they have to fight something they didn't want to fight. So it's really, I did not expect this. I thought it was just going to be a much more straightforward game, but it seems really kind of cool and puzzly. Shay's going to be covering this one when it goes live on Kickstarter later this month. So that's going to be a really interesting one, and it's very surprising.
Awesome, cool.
Dungeon Twister-ish Kabuki Kid kind of feels like that. Kind of feels a little bit like that, yeah. Or if anybody remembers Draco, or was it, or Draken? Anyway, that's a really old dungeon tile crawler.
That name. Okay.
But what was next?
Next is this one here.
Hegemony. Lead your class to victory. Ruel, I'm terrified. I actually have the prototype for this in the next room. The other day, I got it out and set it up, and it devoured the table. And and it's got so much stuff going on, but I'm really interested in it because in this game, each player takes on one faction of a modern society. By the way, you don't have to scroll down to those pictures. You when you look at the big picture, there's arrows on the left and the right. Look at that. Okay. Sorry. Obviously, you don't browse pictures on. And so it has great presentation. But in this game, Ruel might be the capitalist class, the one percenters, and I might be the proletariat, the working class, or I could be the middle class, or I could actually be the state itself. And whichever faction you control gives you a radically different game that you are playing. If you are the 1%, you're the one creating corporations and industry and creating the jobs for the proletariat or for the lower class. If you are the lower class, you are focusing on actually making these industries run while trying to fight for rights for yourselves. So you are not abused and taken advantage of by Ruel, if he happens to be the capitalist. If you're middle class, you're in between. You're starting smaller companies. You're also still trying to focus on day-to-day, survival. And then if you're the state, which is the one I really want to play, your responsibility is to make sure that all three of the other players' needs are taken care of. And if you can do that, that's how you potentially win, because there is only one winner in this game. And so this game, which has been developed with a lot of consultation with economics and economists and whatnot, really tries to shine a light on the way the modern world works, but turn it into an interesting and compelling game. It is a representation of capitalism. So it is, hey, we're all, no matter which strata we're in, we are trying to get ahead at the expense of everybody else. and it looks really fascinating. It's interesting.
Wow.
The rulebook is very long because it has basically rulebooks for each of the different styles of gameplay. But then it also comes with a double-length rulebook that just goes through all the socio-political, economic elements that are in the game that they are replicating and how they put that stuff into the game. So I'm super intrigued. And like I said, I'm also terrified of it. Yeah. But I'll be covering this one this month. Hegemony.
Yeah, this just the photo of the board. I mean, that looks like it's going on forever in the distance there. Yeah.
Basically, it's 4 boards crammed into one. One board for the government, one board for the middle class, for the upper class and the lower class. It's really fascinating.
That is interesting. So you mentioned the 2 rulebooks. So is that like sort of like how Fantasy Flight does their games, where they have like the get started rulebook and then like the more in-depth one? Or...
No, this one, it's more, hey, here's the super in-depth rulebook, and then here's the other one that you don't need to read at all, but it gives you a better understanding of the actual real-world mechanisms that are represented in the game.
Understood.
So that the game becomes a teaching tool as well.
Very nice. Oh, that's cool. All right, let's go on to the next game here. We've got... pull this up right here. Boom.
Oh, right. Circadians Chaos Order. Now, I actually covered Circadians First Light a couple of years ago, and it's a phenomenal worker placement game, dice worker placement game with like, hidden worker selection, kind of like Fresco and whatnot. I absolutely adored that game. Just missed my top 10 of that year. This is a sequel. And it's actually kind of sad because in First Light, humans had come to an alien planet and we were working with the indigenous people trying to ensure that everybody succeeds, everybody lifted up. It was kind of an anti-colonialism game showing how we could do better. This game, as near as I can tell, takes place many years after that, and it's all broken down, and now there's warring conflict and chaos, and we're having to pick sides. And like, so it's it's more of an area control combat resolution game set on the same planet. I don't know, 50 years, 100 years later. I'm not quite sure, but it kind of broke my heart because I was so happy about the uplifting message. And I don't know, maybe Garphill Games, and Shem Phillips and S.A. McDonald are trying to say something about the nature of humanity. It always turns to this. Wow. But Shay will be covering this one because it is an area conflict, area control style game. And again, Circadians First Light was so amazing. And this is from the same team. So I expect, was it Chaos Origin?
I don't remember that. Chaos Origin?
Or I don't remember the title of the game, and all I see is a picture. Which it looks great. Oh, Chaos Order. I suspect will be very good as well, but a very different style of game.
Right, and Garphill Games they do some good stuff, and especially whenever I see Shem Phillips' name, I'm like excited. Anytime he's involved. So it's interesting. He's actually just the artist on this one, right? He's not actually the designer.
Well, no, actually, Shem. I believe the art on the Circadians games is done by Sam Phillips, who I believe is Shem's brother or maybe cousin. Right. They are related. I mean, the first game of Shem's I ever played, the art was done by his mom, actually, a million years ago. So, really? Shem keeps it in the family wherever possible. That's cool. I expect this is going to be an interesting one. Maybe not the kind of thing for me, but I'm looking forward to seeing Shay's run through of it.
Yeah, that looks
preview of it.
That looks fun. Okay, so that was Circadians Chaos Order. Let's move on to the next one. We've got City.
I think we had 5 overall before we get to our count. Oh, the City of Great Machines. Shay's got a busy month this month. This is a one versus all game where it's a dystopian steampunk, 1984ish world where one player is the state trying to keep everybody under control. One player is basically Big Brother, and all the other players are the resistance trying to tear them down. And it looks it's got amazing production quality. I know this one is going to be a very, very big hit because there's already a ton of pent-up excitement for it, and it's huge. There's a lot of stuff going on, very asymmetric play depending on who you're playing, and Shay's going to be covering that one as well.
Wow, I see meeples, I see a bunch of colorful art on the board, and I see minis. Oh, this looks fantastic. Look at that. Wow. Okay, so that's City of the Great Machine. Let's move on to the next game. We have one more here. It is boom. Nope, that's not it.
Boom! It is Real Gaviola.
Yep.
Times 5.
Let's see. Was it this one? Here it is. The Phantom, the card game.
Oh yeah, This one I just wanted to mention because I actually covered the Phantom last year when it was on Kickstarter, and it was a moderately successful little solo or cooperative card game based off the classic comic book series and newspaper series, and I thought it was great. I thought it did a lot of stuff as well as, if not better than, Marvel Champions, quite frankly. And I just wanted to do a quick shout out to it because it's getting an expansion. I won't be covering the expansion, but I imagine when the Kickstarter does go live, they'll have a link to my solo run through I did of the original. And I just wanted to give it a shout out because I thought it was just the bee's knees. Nice. The Phantom card game Terror in Mawitaan. So, okay, we got that out of the way. And now the top 10 can begin 25 minutes into the show.
I think we did this last time too, right? Didn't we do this big intro section? But friends, here we go. The top 10 upcoming board game Kickstarter projects according to us. And I'm going to start with number 10. Yes. And it's actually not on Kickstarter. It's on GameFound. Oh, okay. So I've thrown a little twist here. The game I'm going to look at right now, I'm going to share it here on the screen, is Warpgate Beyond. Okay. Warpgate Beyond by Wolf Designs. This is an expansion for Warpgate, which I have not played yet. But the things I've read about it, this got me right off the bat. It's supposed to be like Twilight Imperium, but like done in an hour and a half instead of a day and a half. And it's a card-driven game. It's supposed to be super fast-paced. It's hand management, area control, and everyone has a unique race of aliens that they're playing. And what this new version does, so they're going to be on GameFound, and what they're going to do is re-release the base game along with this expansion, and the expansion will add on some new factions, objectives, technologies, and also a separate deck for a solo AI. And that right there, I was like, ooh, I can do Twilight Imperium, like a Twilight Imperium experience solo. Like, I'm all about it. So I seriously wondered if you were going to put this one on the list. Yeah, because I had to. This does not compute for me, but correct me if I'm wrong. TI4 is your number one ranked game of all time, right? It is. It's my favorite. It is my favorite game of all time. That is correct.
What are we looking at now?
I don't know what this is. I just clicked on the video for this.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah. So it looks like the designers.
Oh, this is a preview. I mean, from the first one. Yeah.
Okay.
So if you go back earlier, I'm sure he's actually showing the stuff rather than. There we go. Yep. Yeah. I saw this and I mean, obviously I wasn't going to put it on my list. Although I will admit I am intrigued by solo play.
Right.
Because I do like big, expansive, space type stuff. But Jen, I just don't want to spend even 90 minutes beating the crap out of each other or colluding against each other. But apparently you dig that. It just doesn't make sense to me.
It's fun, it's fun. Well, it's not fun all the time, but yeah, a lot of times I enjoy those type of games. And this one, because it's, it just sold me on that whole TI4 experience, but in way less time. So that is Warpgate Beyond. And
I think you're right to draw that, because I went and I looked a little bit at this one on Board Game Geek, and that was like the number one topic of conversation. How does this compare to TI4? What's it missing from TI4? What does it do better? So I mean, I think they're really trading on that, and it makes a lot of sense. And so yeah. Well, okay,
all right. Cool. Let's move on to yours.
Number 9 on the list is also, if I recall correctly, on GameFound, and you are going to be surprised. Number 9 will surprise you. If I were trying to be a little clickbaity. Go click that link.
This is, wow, you totally got me on this. I did not expect this at all. Wow.
There you go.
Lords of Ragnarok? Really?
That's right. Wow. In spite of everything I just said. So apparently this is the sequel. And if you scroll down, this is a preview page that has lots of images and whatnot. You just keep scrolling, I think. You can see lots of stuff once you get past all the chitty chat. I think, there we go. So you can show the people the good stuff. This is basically a sequel or kind of a re-implementation of Lords of Hellas, which, as I understand, was a very, very cool game. And I was always very jealous. This is I would love to play these kind of games, not necessarily for the experience, which is a bunch of dudes on a map, trying to seize territory from each other. There's so many games out there like this, but this game goes so far above and beyond. I think if you keep scrolling down, it'll show just how incredibly huge the miniatures are, because they're in multiple pieces and players are actually trying to build them over the course of the game. And they're like 3 times the size of a regular miniature. And I'm like, I want to play a game like that. I want to play with all the cool toys, but they don't make Euros like this. So Lords of Hellas and Lords of Ragnarok, I will admit, add zero interest to me, because I don't want to spend an hour or two beating Jen into the dirt, no matter how cool it looks. But then I saw they have announced they are having a solo mode designed by Dave Turczi.
Oh, there it is.
And
the magic words.
Interest peaked. Because
wow.
if Dave does a fantastic job, creating playable automa, AI opponents that replicate everything, a human would do. And so that is the way that I can have my cake and eat it too. I can have my big plastic miniatures and not have to beat the crap out of another living human being. This is not just Jen. I wouldn't want to beat the crap out of any of you fine folks watching the show right now either. I derive no enjoyment from fighting players, but I love fighting the game. And so I really look forward to this because of the Turchi developed AI mode. So that piques my interest.
Wow. I didn't expect this. And what I totally missed, I didn't see the solo mode.
I don't believe it's here anywhere on this page. I saw it mentioned again on Board Game Geek that Dave just kind of dropped in, and I think there was an announcement somewhere in a press release or something like that. So that's what gets me on board with this on GameFound, coming live pretty soon. I mean, just look at all those things. The
minis. Oh my gosh.
I honestly like standees. I like cardboard shits, but it's pretty freaking cool.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that looks amazing. I'm so glad you put this on the list. I like these type of games, obviously, but I figured, you're not going to cover it. I mean, I could probably talk about some other time, but oh my gosh, now that I know it has a solo mode, I am so intrigued as well. That looks fantastic.
And my hope is, they haven't announced this, but if they have Turchi do the work to make a solo mode, it's not that much more work to flip that into a co-op mode.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yep.
I'm just putting that out there in the universe. I'm not saying that's going to happen. Just trying to set out good vibes.
Would Jen?
The other reason I put this on the list too is Adam. Adam Kopinski, I believe, is the designer. Yep. And and he's mostly made a name for himself doing these kinds of big plastic dudes on a map games, Nemesis and Hellas and all that. But earlier this year, I played Origins First Builders, which was an awesome Euro designed by him. And I'm like, okay, this is so good. I've got to get more Adam Kopinski in my life. And if it means, him combining forces with Dave Turchi, let's check it out. My number 9, Lords of Ragnarok.
Awesome. Yeah. I was wondering real quick, just to finish this up, would Jen be interested in co-oping that type of game with you, Lords of Ragnarok?
I don't know. Yeah. It depends on who we're fighting. Jen doesn't want to fight human beings. She doesn't mind fighting, legions of the undead or, monsters that are pretty low on the sentient scale. I still remember the first time Jen and I tried to play Star Trek Attack Wing, because we both love Star Trek so much, and this was many, many years ago when we were still kind of learning what we liked and didn't like. And Jen was the Enterprise, and I was the Romulan and the Klingon. And she had me dead to rights. She said, I just don't want to shoot you. I don't want to kill 500 Klingons on that bird of prey. I've watched too many episodes. And she literally just stopped playing. So that's always a tricky thing for her.
Yeah. Okay. Well, cool. Let's move on to my next game that I'm excited about. This is my number 8. I'm so excited about this. Thunder Road Vendetta from Restoration Games. Rahdo, this is a throwback to our childhood, my friend.
Yeah. Well, your childhood, I suppose.
My childhood, yeah. This is a game that I never got to play, but thanks to Restoration Games, it gives me a chance to experience it now at a much later age. But still, I love this. This is basically Mad Max and the whole post-apocalyptic racing games. If you ever played Car Wars back in the day, this is a thing where you build up your cars, a post-apocalyptic world, and you're just shooting each other and exploding cars and all kinds of good stuff, accidents, damage. And it is a racing game, so you're trying to survive, and as everyone's trying to beat up on you and take you out, it's just good 80s fun. That's how I look at it. And
there's no pictures at all. There's just that one prototype and just the
the one prototype. Unfortunately, yeah, that's all they had. Restoration Game, they do a wonderful job of bringing these classics back, right? Fireball Island, Downforce. There's another racing game right there, Downforce. I just got to play Return of Dark Tower, which was amazing. And so these are things from 20, 30 years ago that are being reborn. Because they do more than just update the components and all that. They do update the rules. They do try to make them a little bit more, keep the spirit of the original game. Yep.
But, kind of update them for kind of what we expect of board games today.
Right. And
Rob so this Davio, was from your childhood that you love.
This is.
All right. Well, then, of course, you had to put it on your list.
I had to. Yeah, I mean, Mad Max, come on, Return of Thunderdome and all those other movies where, there's a bunch of cars that, shooting each other. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that as a kid. And
All right.
Rob Diablo actually said that,
Yeah.
they take the games, they're going to keep the spirit of the game, like you were saying, but yeah, they do retool it for modern gaming. So it's not as quite as luck based or whatever. You still have dice and you're still going to, shoot each other, but it's, there's going to be ways to mitigate that as well. So that's my number 8, Thunder Road Vendetta from Restoration Games.
Okay, well, my number 7, I think it's time. We've had way too much fussing and a feuding and a fighting in this top 10 so far. This does not feel appropriate to my channel at all. So let's go to my number 7, which is called, if you got it queued up.
I do.
All right.
It is, and actually this is right here.
Yep.
Boom. Federation.
So this is actually a video from the publisher. I can't remember their name. Rollicate? No. Hecate? It had 8 at the end of their name. They're a newish publisher that I don't really know much about. And that nice young lady is going to talk all about it. But the reason I'm really intrigued by this game is because it is all about intergalactic diplomacy. It's a worker placement game where the worker placement board is the Galactic Senate, and all the different seats in the Senate represent different projects that we can either vote to pass so that they become the law of the galaxy, or that we can fund. Because the interesting thing about this game is it's a worker placement game. The workers are these little discs that represent your ambassadors you send to the Senate, and they're two-sided. So if you put them vote side up, you're voting for the thing to become law. If you put it funding sign up, you're voting for the thing to become more powerful. And I really like that idea. Multi-use workers. We've had multi-use cards. We've had multi-use dice. How about multi-use workers, where every worker has 2 different functions depending on what size you use them for? That sounds very, very cool to me. And, it is all about this intergalactic federation, and each player is a faction trying to become an active, fully fledged member of the federation. So we're trying to, garner influence and back the right projects that will get us the attention we need to become part of, the Federation. I love Star Trek. Yeah. I love utopian future societies and the ideals of them. And so I'm very, very intrigued by just the premise, the subject matter. But then anytime you can do something really new and different with worker placement, I very much appreciate it. And when I saw, they said, "Oh, we have a really innovative new take on work placement." Okay, you got my interest, and I had to dig for it a little bit when I found that multi-use workers. Yes, that sounds very cool, which is why Federation makes my number 7 of the month.
Just looking at the video, gosh, what a beautiful, colorful game, right?
Yes. They had
so much color.
I believe this is their second Kickstarter. They did another Kickstarter last year, which was a big heist called The Specialist, I believe. And that one I think has now shipped or is shipping to people. So they've now proven that they can produce. And the Specialist looked really, really cool. I wanted to cover it last year, but last November was way too busy. I couldn't take on another project. But I'm really intrigued by this new publisher. And Federation just seems like it ticks every single box I've got to tick.
Yeah, this one totally flew under the radar by me. But just seeing all the different colors and how colorful it is, and just all the different colors.
How many times have you said it? Folks.
Yes.
Folks.
Yes.
The secret word is color. You said it before, didn't you?
I did. I said it a couple times.
Yeah, and that was like the 5th time you've said it. And as soon as you said it there, really obviously and almost obnoxious, oh crap, he said it already, didn't he? Yes, he did. Because we were talking, and you said it, and I was going to say, it's almost like they're alien species. No. You can see how excited I am about Federation, folks. I'm
so
completely through the match and gave it to Ruel. He worked in color. Right, folks.
I've been waiting for this moment all episode long. I was waiting to see. I was waiting until you got really excited about a game, and I was like, that's when I'm going to try.
That's when you do it. That's when you do it. Four Gardens is a very, very colorful game, of course. And my wife's Gamer Glass art is also incredibly colorful. And since you are competing to win all of this color, we thought that would be the perfect secret word. So remember, the way it works, folks, is you send an email to contests. I check for both at Rahdo.com. The subject, the word color, and in the body, your country. so that we know which contest to put you in, either for 4 Gardens or for 4 Witwat, from Gamer Glass Dart Art, my wife. And
Now,
yeah.
Are we going with the American spelling of color or are
I figured, I was worried about that. I'm just going to set up a filter for both. So with or without a U, all colors are accepted at the R&R show.
Nice. Perfect. So for those keeping track at home, it is now 5-4 in favor of your buddy Ruel here. So.
God dang. I'm really excited about Federation.
I know.
And you're right.
So
That's
good.
a huge weakness that when I get going, I just completely forget about everything.
Oh no,
I generally get worked up pretty easily too. Yikes! I will have to watch for that. Thank you for giving away my weakness. You're like the person at the poker table who just can't help but tell everybody how smart they are because they figured out the tell. Right, I won't use that tell anymore.
There it is. Okay, so one last time, the secret word is color. That is it. Send it to subject contest@rahdo.com. And good luck, everybody.
Put your country in the body of the email as well.
All right. Let's continue, shall we? I've got my number 6 now coming up.
People are asking. If you're in Canada or the United States, you're entering the contest for 4 Gardens. If you are anywhere else in the world, you're entering the contest for the Witwat. I did have some people last time say, "Well, I don't want to enter the contest that's in North America, basically. I want the worldwide one." And if that's the case, I don't know. Put a mention of it in the email. I'll take a look at it. I mean, even though we're getting hundreds of these, I am still looking at every single one of them.
Oh my goodness!
Over the course of the week, and because I mean, there's so many nice things said. There's so many cool pictures of dogs and some wonderful pictures of cats too, and other pictures as well. But anyway, we're ready to move on. We've spent too much time on this.
Yeah, let's do this. Okay, so we're moving on to my number 6. And I'm going to change things up a little bit. I wanted to do something a little different because I am an omni gamer, as y'all know. So I enjoy all types of games. And the game I'm excited about coming up on Kickstarter is Iron Forest. This is from Brain Games. And if you've ever heard of a game called Ice Cool, this is from the same company.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Oh.
And check
I'm now much more interested. I just saw that and I just kept on scrolling just based off the cover art.
Yes.
But
here's a prototype. You can see it there. Iron Forest takes the whole Ice Cool thing where you've got the little, well, in Ice Cool is penguins and you flick them around. It's a dexterity game at its heart, folks. But now instead of penguins, you've got these mechs. And the mechs are going in this little forest. They're going to try to complete objectives. And it's a campaign game. Oh, my goodness. It takes everything I liked about Ice Cool, but puts it into this whole new setting. And I love the fact that they're expanding it and adding like gamer touches to it. Like, asymmetric abilities. Each like little mech has a different ability that you can use. You are going to be completing tasks and different goals and missions. And it's an ongoing campaign. So you're going to, complete one portion of the game and then move on to the other. I'm assuming that you're going to be,
those are holes that they drop down, right? Yeah, they must.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming that you're going to be rearranging the boxes
of the actual mechs you're flipping? Because the coolest thing about Ice Cool was the way those little penguins were weighted. So they kind of wobbled around and you could do like crazy bank shots around corners if you flicked them right.
Yeah. This one, let me see. The closest shot they have is here.
Click it. Zoom in. Enhance. Zoom and enhance.
Why isn't this thing zooming in? Here it is. Whoops.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Yeah, now use your arrows to move around because you've zoomed in super far.
Okay, so here we go.
There we go. Find us a mech somewhere on that.
Oh, where you at, mech? I think I pressed the wrong one. Okay, here it is.
No!
I do it again.
We're going to have to do some practice. All right. I think if you hold down your mouse wheel and you can just kind of scroll around the middle mouse wheel. There you go. All right. Show us a mech.
Hey, mech, you're coming up. So yeah, this is just like Ice Cool. You got the little, weighted penguins, or in this case, mechs.
Oh, there we go. I see some plastic. Oh, you passed it. Isn't that to the left? Is that some plastic? No, that's just some green. Oh, up above?
Above, there it is.
Yeah, there you go. Okay. So
well, this one, since it's a prototype, I'm assuming they're just
penguins.
using the penguins. Yeah.
Okay, so they haven't actually made the finals yet.
Yeah, because you can tell, like, look at the hole here. It's been like, you know, cut out basically.
Yeah, it's a prototype. But I mean, if they're using the penguins for this, then that would assume that the mechs somehow have that wiggly, wobbly, you know, bottom heavy thing as well, so you can do the really funky trick shots. I have to assume.
Yeah. Do you play games like this, Rahdo? Do you enjoy Ice Cool and other like dexterity flicking games?
I think they're great tournament, or I'm not sure, great convention games.
Yeah.
They're not the kind of thing Jen and I are like, oh, let's spend the next hour flicking stuff. But we do enjoy it. But, you know, flicking is generally not as much fun with 2 players. You want more players. You want more people shouting and whooping and hollering as opposed to 2 diehard Euro fanatics very carefully trying to, you know, min-max every single move you can make and all of that.
Right. And that's what I appreciate about Iron Force is that it's taking the flicking from Ice Cool, but throwing it into this game that actually has, like, you know, hey, you got different abilities you can do, and you're trying to complete missions. And as you can see here, you're going to be dropping through. You know, it's like a 3D, like two level board here, so you're going to be dropping through. And I don't know what that's about, but I'm excited about it. So
yes, bring on the Wibble Wobble mechs, as Monica says in the chat.
Yeah. Do you remember the Weeble Wobbles? That was another thing from our chat.
Yes, Kabuki also remembers them, and she points out how they do not fall down.
They do not fall down. That's right.
Cool. All right, so that was your number 6, I think, right?
That was my number 8.
I'm so embarrassed. No, like I said, I just saw that. Oh, Big Mechs. I know what that game is, and I just passed. I didn't even look, and I am embarrassed now. I'm embarrassed twice in this episode. All righty. I'm going to blame the residual numbing agent in my mouth. All right. My number 5.
Good call. Good call. Your number 5.
My number 5 is, I'm not 100% certain how it's pronounced, but it's spelled Ahau. Ahau. The Rulers of the Yucatan. And now this is definitely Jen's in my wheelhouse. If you scroll down, there's like, I mean, you will see this has got a big board with lots of stuff going on. Very, very cool looking worker placement game, you know, set in the Yucatan Valley. And I expect really good, interesting stuff. As I recall, it is a worker placement game. And the main trick is we have a handful of cards that represent our workers. And we pick a card simultaneously and we all reveal where we're going to go. And if we both end up going to the same place, the other card resolves who gets priority of that action. So I love simultaneous action selection. Bringing into a worker placement like Dungeon Pets or a Fresco makes me very, very interested in this one as well. I love games that really dive deep into history. And one of the things I really want to do a huge shout out to the developers for Ahau is you know, even though I believe this was designed by a new Hungarian designer, they went the extra mile and hired a cultural consultant, a professor of anthropology and archaeology to basically double check and make sure they were getting everything correct. Nice. And, you know, there were actually several games that I could have talked about this week in this milieu, in ancient South American and, you know, and other areas around, Polynesian areas all around the world. And it's getting harder and harder for me to get enthusiastic about those games when you have something like Ahau that goes the extra mile to really demonstrate in their development how important they take the culture that they are trying to represent, as opposed to what the game industry has been doing now for a few decades of just, oh, this sounds cool. Let's just go on ahead and call ourselves this ancient city and put some mechanisms in. So I really appreciate that they went above and beyond for Ahau, Rulers of the Yucatan.
I appreciate that too, and it is nice to see that more publishers are doing that. I mean, you know, because you want to be respectful, right?
Yes.
Respect the other cultures outside of your own, and this is, I believe, the right way to do it. So this one, this looks fantastic. Just again, I was gonna say it looks really colorful, but we've already done that.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
All right. What is your number 4?
My number 4, I'm also doing something a little different for this one. Again, I am an Omni Gamer, friends. I like different type of games. And this one, you just mentioned how Iron Force would be great at a convention. This is another one that would be great at a convention. It's called MonsDRAWsity Unusual Suspects. And MonsDRAWsity, MonsDRAWsity has been out for a year or two now from Deepwater Games. It's a game by Eric Slauson. It's a fun party drawing game. And what Unusual Suspects does, this is actually from the Shut Up and Sit Down crew. They decided, hey, we're going to get together with Deepwater. They're going to collaborate, and they've added all kinds of new monsters and stuff. And then they're also adding a couple of new rules. So MonsDRAWsity, it's a really quick game. Basically, one player, you are all playing as police sketch artists, right? And one player is the witness. They draw a random card. It's a monster. They look at it for 20 seconds. They put it down. Then they try to describe for the next 2 minutes to the a police sketch artist. And as the artist, you're drawing and like, hey, how many arms does it have? Is it, is it big? Is it small? Whatever. And then after 2 minutes, your pens are down, and then you reveal them, and then you're going to vote who you think is the closest to the monster, which is revealed, and you get points based on that. It's such a fun game. It's easy to play over Zoom or Skype as well. Michelle and I and our family have played it numerous times over the pandemic. And what I'm excited, especially about the Unusual Suspects expansion, or the standalone expansion, is that some of the new rules are really wacky, and I want to try them. Like, one of the new rules that they have is the points, instead of the player with the most points, it's actually the player with the second most points will win the game or win the round. And there's another one that the witness who's looking at the monster card for 20 seconds, they have to hold it upside down and then try to remember it. So it's wacky, it's fun, and it's a super light game. The games take like 20 minutes, and I actually like it better. I'm a horrible artist. I can't draw, but I think that lends itself to these type of games like Telestrations, because it comes off really funny, and it's just a blast. And so I'm looking forward to MonsDRAWsity Unusual Suspects from Deepwater Games.
Cool.
Okay, let's move on.
Well, my number 3 is, I am sticking to my wheelhouse. I am definitely doing stuff that people would expect from me, but hey, I likes what I likes. And I am very, very excited for my number 3, which is, again, a hard one to pronounce, Karigar-E-Taj, which I believe translates to Artisans of the Taj Mahal. And I am very, very interested in this one because, well, as I said last time, hey, what's really great to have developers actually starting to, get academics to come in and spot check their work to make sure they get it right. How about you go one step further and actually get the people who are from these cultures and societies to make the games themselves. I am really stoked for this, in part because it looks like a very cool worker placement game where the worker placement board is changing and updating. You can see right there that there are a bunch of tiles that represent where you can change your workers, and those will swap. So you're having to do worker placement at the right place at the right time to get the right resources to help build the Taj Mahal. But more importantly, this is from new publisher Dice Toy Lab. Actually, new to me. They've been around in India for a while, putting out resources. I covered Indus 2500 BCE. I thought it was a really great. I actually enjoyed this more than Cartographers, which I know is heresy in some circles, because it has a cartographer vibe, but does things in a very different way. And so, considering how good Indus 2500 BCE was, when I saw they've got another one coming, Artisans of the Taj Mahal, or Karigar-E-Taj, this is one I really want to check out as well. And I want more people making board games in countries other than America, Germany, and France. I really hope this blows up big. I hope this is a big success, both for this plucky startup, but also to inspire more people to step forward and represent their cultures in my favorite art form, board games.
That's awesome. I love it. Yeah, agreed, my friend. Agreed. Okay, awesome. So let's move on to my next game, which will be our number 2 game on the list. This is, oh my gosh. Okay, here it is.
You can do it.
I feel like this one, I actually thought this one might be on your list, but it made on mine. It is Mythwind. Was this on your list?
It was on my list last month, man.
Oh, was it? Oh my gosh, it was. Was it? Oh,
it sure was.
Oh, so
I think you have to retroactively lose your point for this episode. Although, to be fair, last month when I talked about it, there was nothing other than a name and a very brief description, and I was just going based off the description. So actually, I think it's allowable because now it's close to launching, we got lots of cool art, and it looks very, very nice.
Yeah.
And there's probably more known about it now. Why were you so entranced about it you completely forgot that I talked about it a month ago?
Because
look at it. It looks so amazing.
This looks gorgeous. So here's the thing. I remember when I was looking at the Kickstarter description, they're talking about how it's an open-ended game. You're a pioneer in this, in this world, and You got asymmetric mechanisms and stuff. It's very RPG influenced. What really appealed to me was the world here. Let me show some more of the artwork here, like this.
Wow,
Michelle and I, we just played for the first time Artisans of Splendid Vale. And that's a game that Michelle, I wouldn't think she would be into, but she got drawn into it because of the theme. And that reminded me of Mythwind. I feel like this type of game would really capture, people who are a little more casual gamers, just on the artwork and the components and everything alone. I mean, this looks beautiful. Look at this. So
that is absolutely amazing. As I recall, I mean, there wasn't much about it last month, but the thing that there was one interview or designer diary I read somewhere where the designer said basically this is Legend of Zelda meets Oath. I'm like, right. Okay, yes, please, because it's incredibly asymmetric. It also seems like it's interesting. I was kind of hoping this for Splendid Vale as well. It seems like it has less focus on just traditional fantasy combat and more focus on, actually building a world.
Exactly.
And inhabiting and living in that world.
Yes. And that's what really drew me to this. Just going over the description and everything, because when we played Artisans of Splendid Vale, it was such a nice change from, hey, let's all gear up and go fight monsters and stuff. That is totally different in Artisans of Splendid Vale. And I feel like Mythwind is going to capture some of that similar feeling. And that's why I'm excited for it, because this is something that Michelle and I would probably play together. So that is Mythwind. That's my number 2. We've got one more game.
Excellent one.
Yes.
So nice. We listed it twice.
Yes, that's how good it is. We've got one more. Your number 1.
All right. My number 1 is, you got the link for it. Bring it on up. It is Paint the Roses.
Yes.
It looks wonderful. From North Star Games, they're really an up-and-comer. I mean, they did such an amazing job bringing Evolution out, but I'm really excited about this. This is a game set in the Alice in Wonderland verse where we are the gardeners trying to meet the needs of the Mad Queen, and whatever her fickle wants are for how the garden is put together, we have to address. The tricky thing is, Ruel and I, we're playing this cooperatively. We're trying not to get our heads chopped off. And the thing is, I have a card that says one of the things the queen wants. Ruel has a card that says one of the things the queens want. We cannot share that information with each other because the queen wants us to zip it and just get to work. And so it's a gorgeous looking tile laying game. I mean, are those ceramic tiles? I'm not quite sure. It looked like in one of the pictures, maybe it was. I'm maybe jumping the gun there. Obviously there's a lot of prototype pictures here, but we are doing tile laying, trying to fulfill our communal goals that only half of us or only a portion of us know about. And a big part of the game is, the fact that you did that, I now have to intuit. Why do I think you put that piece there? Are you trying to do X, Y, or Z? But when I'm articulating that, Ruel has to say mum's the word. But as I'm talking about this, Ruel can say, that's what he thinks I'm doing. That's not what I'm doing at all. I now have to reiterate. So it kind of becomes it feels to me like a code names where everybody is simultaneously the clue giver and the people trying to figure out the clue, because we're constantly, why did you do that? And we're all working simultaneously, because if anybody gets their head chopped off, we all lose. So I love imperfect communication cooperative games. This looks like it has a great presentation, and it looks like it's something other than just another spin on Hanabi, which I love that. Don't get me wrong. But I'm excited to see other new things, which is why Paint the Roses made my number 1 spot.
Nice. Yeah, it was on my list too, and but it didn't make my list. But it just looks beautiful, and it's interesting. I didn't really put 2 and 2 together until you mentioned the whole code names style of deduction. I like that in this, and that looks good. Friends, that is our top 10 upcoming board game Kickstarters. We did it. We made it.
We did our top 9 plus 1.
Yes. I'm not gonna lie. I was sweating. I was like, I don't think we could get this in an hour. We were.
Yep, we are just on. So since you did repeat one from last month, did you have a number 6 that you were thinking about?
Number 6.
Want to do a quick shout out to it?
Let's see. Geez.
And while you're looking for that, let's see. Actually, I was gonna say we could start doing some Q&A, but we are on the hour. We have made it just under the wire. So. Okay. If you can think of a number 6.
Let's see. I got all the ones I hear. Oh, here's one. Okay, here. I'll put this on
special extra bonus, folks, on the way out the door.
just for you all who've joined us, thank you again. This is the R&R show. How about the bonus is Aldarra Reborn?
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I love the artwork in this. Now I forgot what this is all about. Midweight combat fort. Okay, dudes on a map.
Yeah.
Troops on a map. That's what got me. I'm a fan of like games like Blood Rage and so forth. So this right off the bat just captured my attention. I don't think they have many pictures. Yeah, I don't see any pictures yet.
Yeah, and you weren't expecting to put this on the list, obviously. But
yeah,
since you cheated and only gave us 4 new games, your coming year number 5 was Aldarra Reborn.
Yeah, so there it is, friends. Check that one out too. There's a bonus for you. Okay.
Well, that's it, folks. We've got another one done and dusted. Next week is going to be tricky because we like to be here every Wednesday at noon. But next week, somebody in this stream is not going to be sitting at their table. What's going on next week, Ruel?
I'm going to be traveling to the Dice Tower Studios. I'm going to be playing some games with Tom Vassell and the whole crew over there as part of the Autumn Spectacular. So we're going to be playing a bunch of games, and so I'm going to be on the road. But can we make it happen? We're going to try to make this happen while I'm on the road, either from the hotel room or wherever. Now, we had tried this originally at Gen Con, but Gen Con was just way too hectic and crazy, and there's technology issues out there as well. But I think we might be able to make this happen, but I don't know if it would be on. It won't be at the same time. It won't be at noon Pacific on Wednesday, but perhaps we can extend it to a little later in the day. What do you think?
We'll see what we can do. The next episode is certainly intended to be our Games of Essen 2021,
right?
Which there were some folks asking about it at the beginning of the chat in this very live stream because oh my gosh, there's so much stuff. You know, even though Gen Con it was like only a few weeks away from Essen, you look at the Essen list and geez Louise, look at all this stuff. So we are planning on doing a top 10 upcoming, must-has games from Essen 2021. The question is when. The answer is Ruel, and Ruel ain't talking right now.
I ain't talking. I'm gonna refer back to the 3 letters TBD.
There you go.
TBD.
All right,
we will let you know. Okay. So that's going to be it for this episode of R&R. We want to thank everyone for joining us. Again, we have so much fun doing these. Rahdo, would you like to take us out?
Yes, I would like to say thanks to everybody for watching or listening. Later on, you can hear this on podcast.raw.com, because I always take these and turn them into podcast form. And good luck on the contest. You know the secret word. You know what to do. And otherwise, I also want to say thanks, a big, huge thanks to our sponsor of the week, Arcane Wonders, for making the show possible and for donating that awesome copy of Four Gardens. Thanks for watching, everybody. Talk to you later. So long. Bye-bye.